All right, I am already annoyed with the Iran war peace deal coverage, not the deal itself, just a conversation that's already around it. I don't think a significant chunk of the country is capable of having a rational conversation about anything that includes politics anymore. And that is a stain on both of your houses. There are people in Team Red who won't change their mind or say anything bad about what's going on with the current administration. There's people on Team Blue who will never say anything nice and just always assume the worst. And most of us live in that sort of gray area, or if you want to be a jerk about it, purple area in the middle to complete the red-blue metaphor. But already we have the announcement of a deal. We have a deal we assume is about to happen and probably get signed later this week. And we already have people with strong opinions about it, and no one has read the thing. You know, people have asked me, besides just on the radio show, just walking down the street, hey, what do you think about the Iran deal? You know, Miss Parker will ask me about it, or one of my friends will ask me about it, or a coworker will ask me about it, or the big boss, Mr. Bennett, will ask me about it. And I have a hard time having an opinion on this thing at all because I haven't read it. No one's read it. No one's even given me a summary of what's in it. We don't know what's in it. So for anyone out there who's saying this is a great deal, I know it, you know it, everybody knows it, believe me, besides Donald Trump and the 12 or whatever people that actually worked on the deal, you can't say that because you don't know what's in it. For all the people that are criticizing it, same thing. You don't even know what's in it. What are you criticizing? And so Donald Trump was asked about the Iran deal and when are we going to see the actual text? You know, you haven't released the text. So earlier today, he made a good point. He's like, whenever I actually get the deal signed, I may just read the thing word for word so you people can't report on it with a bias. Because you know that's coming too. You know, whatever the report from most of the media is going to be on this Iran deal, they're going to say, what looks the worst? What can we take out of this deal that makes Donald Trump look the worst? And they'll make it the headline. They're like, Iran peace deal doesn't include anything about uranium. Oh my God, isn't this the worst peace deal ever? Oh my God. Here's a couple of examples. First, Donald Trump being asked about the Iran deal text. You know what? Maybe he should just read it word for word.
I'd like to get a formal setting first before we do that, but I have no problem with that. It's good document. Here's what it says. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. That's what it says. It won't have one. To buy, to develop, they will not have a nuclear weapon. And I would say that's about 99.9% of what I wanted, because we couldn't let that happen. You couldn't let that happen. And they won't have a nuclear weapon. Now, in addition to that, the Strait is going to be open toll-free. And it's toll-free beyond the 60 days. It's not, somebody said, oh, it's toll-free for 6. No. It's toll-free, period. When it opens permanently, it'll be toll-free. I want to congratulate our Navy because the naval blockade was unbelievable. But I'll not only release it, I'll probably have a press conference and read it to you word by word so that the press covers it accurately.
Yeah, you might have to do that. Don't worry, they'll edit it after you read it. They'll selectively edit your video. They'll still pull it off, but it's worth a try now. J.B. Pritzker was in some forum, and I believe this is from this morning, where he was asked about the Iran deal, and he's already decided that it's a terrible deal. He hasn't read it. He doesn't know what's in it, but he's already criticizing it. See, this is what's so frustrating. You can't possibly have a strong opinion. I know that you could say that, you know, from what I hear from the reports, it sounds like this might not be a good bill, or this might not be a good deal. But it's the certainty that bothers me. Now, Trump, he's actually seen the deal. He knows what's in it. Whoop-de-doo. Pritzker, no idea. No clue. He's just already decided whatever it is, he's going to say it's bad anyway.
Iran. Obviously, the conflict there is something that everybody is watching, the impact that it's having on, gas, on so many different things. There's news of a deal, but nobody really knows what's in the deal. We wrote this morning in Punchbowl News AM about some skepticism, even among Republican senators, saying, that's great that they say there's a deal, but what's actually the details of it? What do you think needs to be part of it for it to be something that you think would actually be a win for America?
Well, so far it sounds like the deal is really just a cessation of hostilities and pushing off into the future negotiations about things, which it opens the Strait of Hormuz, but it begs the question, why did we get involved in this conflict in the first place? Which I believe to have been an illegal war, should have gone to Congress and gotten a resolution from Congress to authorize it. But look, I think the question I think we're all going to have to ask is this any better than the JCPOA that was already in place when Donald Trump tore it up in his first term? And that's question one. Question two, look what's happened to the economy as a result of, and inflation as a result of this war. And of course, we've lost lives, and there have been a lot of lives lost on the ground. And so it's a real question whether there's any advancement at all of U.S. interests. And indeed, my observation is we've gone backward, not forward.
All right. Look, that is a preview of things to come. They are going to sing from the same sheet of music, and there probably won't be much division within Team Blue. They're all going to think it's terrible. Everyone on Team Red's going to think it's great, except for maybe a Rand Paul and Thomas Massie. Notice how that works out. Well, you can tell who the original thinkers are in Congress. There's about two of them. Maybe throw in John Fetterman there a little bit. Coming up next, all right, Parker, you gave us what little updates we could possibly glean from the Iran deal. What next? Well, let's find out how this is going to affect your money. I like money. Bill Dindy from Raymond James coming on next on The James Show. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. You know, you may not even realize how much pain is changing your life for the worse. James Parker here for QC Kinetics. For every time you decline to take a flight of stairs, whether it's to take the elevator or maybe you got to take the handicap ramp up, for every time you decline to go jump on the trampoline with your grandkids because, you know, your back will freak out, or every time you have to pass on playing catch with your grandson because of pain. Well, you might not have to live like that. You might just go to QC Kinetics, give them a call, go check out the consultation, like what you hear, try out a couple of their treatments till you find the one that works for you. You go through a few cycles, pretty soon you never have to talk to them again because you are in your new pain-free future. It's not going to make you young again. It's not going to make you 21, but it can give you some of your youth back. It starts with you making the phone call to QC Kinetics, 972-972-8610, 972-972-8610. So how is this Iran deal going to affect your money? I'm James Parker. It's the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Well, for one thing, price of gas, you can expect that to go down pretty soon. You know, you see the herky-jerky movements that the price of oil has made just over the last 3 months that this has been going on. You can tell it's really wanted to come down. It did not want to stay up above 100 very long. Just on the slightest of good news, it was easily back down around 90 or so. But now it's continuing to fall through the trading of yesterday and again in today. So that's fantastic. And look, we've all observed that the prices go up really fast and have a tendency to come down a little bit slower than it went up. But the stock market's absolutely loving life. The Dow Jones is living its best life right now. In fact, it crossed 52,000 today. And it hadn't closed yet, but we're on pace for, I think this could be another record close. So not only is the stock market not freaking out, we're at literally all-time highs. Literally all-time highs. And just like the SpaceX IPO, about 60% of Americans are affected by that. And for a lot of people, it's like right in your face. They've got all these stocks and they're growing some wealth. But for most people, it's a passive connection to the stock market. For most people, you have a 401k and you're just sliding a little bit of money into some, I don't know, target date fund. So within that target date fund, someone's buying an index, a Dow index, a S&P index, NASDAQ index, I don't know. But they have all kinds of funds in there. And eventually, somewhere along the line, you're buying up. You're invested in the stock market. You're buying these stocks. And if they go up, you know, the rising tide lifts all boats. Well, 60% of us out there will have our boats lifted. Well, that only applies to rich people. Well, 60% of us. And for the other 40%, you're welcome to get in the stock market. I know that people are rolling their eyes. Well, how can I afford to get in the stock market if I can barely afford food and rent? Lower your standard of living. That's what everyone else experienced as part of their human life for all of history until about 60 years ago. They had a lower standard of living. They had a smaller living space. They lived in a rough part of town with rough neighbors. People didn't have 2 cars. People didn't have 8 TVs in their house. They didn't have 4 Netflix subscriptions, you know, Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Paramount and all the things. You know, your grandparents lived on a lot less money than you did. You're like, no one can live on minimum wage salary. Are you kidding? 90% of the country lives on less income than that. Or 90% of the planet, I should say, lives on less income than that. So as far as financially speaking, the only holdup we have as far as the Iran war goes is that silly price of oil. And you realize that as soon as the price of oil comes down, then those inflation numbers will look a little bit better. Now, ultimately, the inflation is going to persist. The inflation that's too hot for comfort is going to persist because we're still running a 1.5, somewhere between a 1.5 to $2 trillion deficit every year. And with the Federal Reserve and the tools that are in their tool belt, there's only so much they can do if we're rolling out a deficit every year that is almost at a 2 trillion clip. So that'll get you pretty well updated on how this is affecting you in the immediate term. Now, in the medium term, this is where you should have a little bit more concern. That price of oil, yeah, it's higher than we would like it to be. It's coming down a little bit. But what if in 60 days we don't have a uranium deal? What if in 60 days things fall apart and Donald Trump says, well, we would do the blockade, but I'm going to extend the deal another 10 days, or I'm going to give them until Labor Day, or I'm going to give them whenever the deadline is, I don't know. But I'm going to give them another week or two, another 10 days. You know, that stuff keeps getting bumped out. He's running into the midterm elections. The midterm elections are going to hinge on the economy, and the economy is going to hinge on the price of oil. The price of oil is going to hinge on Iran. So you have a scary feeling in the medium term, this could all fall apart after the immediate 60-day ceasefire where we're trying to work out what's going to happen with the uranium. And we may be revisiting all of this scary stuff in about 2 months. My next guest, Bill Dindy, on the James Show. He's a financial advisor and watches the headlines that affect your money for his day job. And Bill, I think the economy is going to love it right now. But in 60 days, if we don't have that uranium thing worked out, we may be in for some economic headwinds. What do you think about that, Bill Dindy?
That's exactly right. And the whole optimism right now is based on the Strait of Hormuz staying open and energy flowing like it used to flow. And that actually does take a few months to come online, but there has been so much optimism based upon all that working out. And the market's hit new highs based on this. People are rotating to more risky assets again. We've seen the effect with this type of deal working out. But if it doesn't work out, just as quickly as things have moved up, they will move back down. We have seen inflation globally been impacted. GDP worldwide has been decreased. Economists are saying that may be up to 0.5% already, and a lot of that is not recoverable. So we have a lot of optimism around the deal being made, but the concern that it might not work out because we've seen this happen before. And so the markets are showing that in the way that they're trading. The bond market, we did see interest rates fall a little bit, but not much. You would expect the interest rates to come down a lot more, but the concern is there is inflation in the system. It's not just the Strait of Hormuz issue. The Fed is getting ready to have their first meeting, and we're going to see how that impacts the market. But the Fed is likely to say, let's wait and see on this interest rates. But if things stay hot, if the economy shows that inflation is not defeated, we may see actually rates not go down. But a lot of the money is saying, yeah, it probably will. So you're exactly right. It's anybody's game right now.
Well, Bill Dindy, as much as I know it's dangerous to try and time the market, there is the old adage of you want to buy low and sell high. And seeing as how the Dow's at an all-time high right now, should we be selling?
A lot of people are thinking that way because it is still a reasonably good time to move into fixed income with the interest rates still in their highs of what they've been over the last 25 years. The risk here, of course, is that interest rates come down and you sold and you regret it later, that the market continues to rally. The other concern is that if we have inflation that has not been stamped down, and if we have our national debt not able to be refinanced without raising rates there, that it will trickle throughout the entire rate system. And we'll see a situation where we could have rising interest rates. So there isn't a clear best answer, but you're right. You rarely lose money by taking profits. And so a lot of people are at this point saying the market's done so well, I will put some chips, take some chips off the table, put them in a safer investment vehicle, know that I have won the game here. So now I just don't want to lose the game. And if we have a lot of investors shifting to that mentality at the same time, of course, that will have the impact on the market too.
All right, great update. Only have about 30 seconds left, so just a yes or no answer. Have you bought any SpaceX stock?
No.
All right, that's Bill Dindy.
I'm the only one, man. I'm the only one.
Well, I didn't either.
coming on out.
I wanted to see what it was going to do for a week or two before I jumped on that. All right, if you need some financial advice, Bill Dindy has a Raymond James office here. Look him up. DENDY, Bill Dindy. Thank you very much, sir. Coming up next, are you getting the impression that the World Cup tourists love America more than your neighbors on Team Blue? I'm James Parker. This is The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Well, welcome to all the World Cup tourists, and thank you for liking this country more than half of this country does. I'm James Parker. It's the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. Your home for Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. And they've made this observation too. You know, the Bernie Sanders of the world, the AOCs, your favorite celebrities and movie stars, probably some of your favorite musicians as well, just love to go out and tell everyone what a terrible country this is. It's full of hatred and bigotry and gun violence and burning crosses all over the place. And the really terrible part is if you get out of the safe, sane, civilized big cities and you venture out into the scary hinterlands and the rural areas where there's white rural rage. Well, World Cup tourists are coming over here and figuring out the truth is exactly opposite. I knew it. You knew it. But they're like, yeah, all the scary, sketchy, violent parts are in these big cities, and the safe, open, generous people are all out in the country. They're not bad at all. They're not xenophobic. They're not racist. They're not hateful. They're not like, where you from? You from Croatia? We don't like your kind around here, boy. No, they're actually, I walked past some Croatians when I went and got lunch. I'm over here by the American Airlines Center, and there's a game today, and there's a bunch of them that were on this patio in Victory Park. And I was like, hey, Croatia, huh? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, welcome to Texas, boys. And they just keep on walking. That's it. Oh, really? We're just not terrible people? So if you play these back and forth, back to back, it's almost like, can we trade these tourists for some of our Team Blue neighbors? Can we trade in exchange for getting rid of the people who think we need to have an exodus from this country, in exchange for the people who think, oh, if Donald Trump wins, I'm moving somewhere else, or this is terrible, or it's how come every other country has gun control and universal health care and we don't? Well, move there then. Wouldn't it be better if we traded some of these awesome tourists for some of these haters? Here's my favorite one, I think, is Robert. He's from the UK. He rented a big, giant truck, and he's driving it around, and he can't wipe the smile off his face.
I've been driving for 5 minutes now, and I can't wipe this smile off my face. I'm driving a Ram truck in America. Like, look how sick this is. Country music on the radio. Go on. I'm going to Hooters in a Ram truck in America, boys. Yeehaw! Praise for freedom!
Yeah, so he loves it. But did you notice something else? Everything they love about America, you're told to not like. They like driving around in a big truck. Who thinks big trucks, oh, they're just compensating for a small penis. You don't ever need a truck that big. It's killing the climate and you're just carbon footprint or whatever. What does Team Blue want to put you in? They want to put you in a tiny car. They want to put you in a Ford Focus, or maybe even better, a hybrid like a little Prius, or maybe even better, we can put you on one of these little electric scooters, or even best, on a bicycle. Now, if you have no transportation, we'll shove you in a train. What do they not like about America, the tourists that are coming here? Number one, they do not like the public transportation. There was some Japanese tourists, 2 in the same day, that landed at DFW. They came to their hotels on a train thinking, hey, yeah, well, this is what we do in Japan. It's probably the same here. And they realize it's not the same as the train that goes from Osaka to Tokyo. This train is a little bit more like Judgment Night, the Emilio Estevez movie Judgment Night about the south side of Chicago. They're like, Jesus, it stinks. There's a bunch of scary people on here, a bunch of homeless people sleeping, some guys peeing in the corner. And then they get to the downtown of all these giant metropolitan areas, and they're like, this is sketchy. This is not clean. This is not safe. I can tell by looking. What's with all the graffiti and trash everywhere? But they go out to red state America, or just red parts of America. They're loving life. So you just heard Sean from the UK, loving it. Going to Hooters. Oh, no. Objectifying women and fried food with 1,000 ingredients in it. You're told to not like that stuff. That's exactly what they're liking. So let's go to last night. They did what was this concert? Rise Up, Sing Out concert for the First Amendment. So there's some committee for the First Amendment, and it's not really about the First Amendment. It's just a Team Blue captured thing to try and exploit people's fealty to the Constitution to make a point. But Robert De Niro was there, and he was actually saying he doesn't love America. And then he explained why he doesn't love America. And I'll play it for you next. And I know this is going to be hard for you to digest, But they're not just saying they don't love America. They mean they don't love America. Because, a lot of times they're just saying things, white rural rage, look out for evil, violent white people from the country, team red people. We know they don't mean that. We know they don't mean that they think men can really have babies. But some of them really do hate this country. And you'll hear Robert De Niro explain why next. And then you'll realize, can we trade this guy for Sean from the UK, or for Freddie from Germany, or for Skylar from Norway? 800-288-9227. The Robert De Niro audio next on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I mean, do they really hate America? I'm James Parker. It's the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I feel like some people just say this for effect. Some people just say this because it's kind of the cool thing to do. Or really, you know, a lot of it feels like when you gripe about your siblings. Remember when you were a kid, you're like, man, I hate my brother. He's a butthead. But if someone else said, man, your little brother's a butthead, you'd be like, shut up. Right? Oh, my sister's a B word. But if someone else says your sister's a B word, you're like, hey, what's wrong with you? So I feel like maybe it's familial like that. But Evan Sayet tells the story of how he became a Republican. He was born a little Jewish kid in New York City. So, you know, understandably just raised New York City on Team Blue as a default. And then when 9/11 happened, you know, people were his entire life saying, yeah, this country sucks. This country's terrible. But when 9/11 happened and it was time to say, all right, we need to do something to defend this country. And they said, nah, we probably deserved it. It dawned on him, a lot of these people really don't love this country. They really do hate this country. And when they try and explain why, it makes it even worse. So here's Robert De Niro yesterday talking about why he doesn't love America. Now, I think he's being sincere here. And it leads me to the conclusion, if you truly believe in the mainstream ethos of what Team Blue is selling in 2026, how could you love America?
Later, the letter stated, regardless of our political affiliation or whether we engage in politics or not, we all love our country. So when we, not so fast. The phrase, we all love our country, stuck in my throat. Because our country isn't so lovable right now. I hate to say it, but loving our country is starting to sound like an abused spouse saying they love their abuser. I can't love a country that starts stupid and inhumane wars, killing thousands of innocents and indirectly causing the deaths and suffering of millions more. I can't love a country that takes health care away from millions of people and uses that money to enrich their pals in the Trump-Epstein class. I can't love a country that sends out masked militias to shoot citizens in the streets, torture our neighbors, and separate families. I can't love a country that's led by a racist, misogynist, xenophobic tyrant. And let me just say it. I can't love the country that's led by Donald Trump and his...
All right, let me tell you what really bothers me about that. I mean, first off, I'm convinced you don't love this country. You hate this country. I got it. You don't have to explain yourself any further, sir. And then all the people in the crowd cheering all that on. But he goes in the end, and don't be deceived. This isn't based on Trump derangement syndrome. And I want to stress that because I don't want you to think this is going to go away when Trump is out of power. Because that's the way they like to couch it. It's a much better context for their argument. Because the truth is, this is what we say anytime a Republican is in office. This is what we said about every Republican president in your entire life. This is what we say about anybody who disagrees with us. It's not really effective, right? What they like to tell you is, well, I mean, I didn't like George W. Bush, but he was way better than this guy. I didn't like George H.W. Bush, way better than this guy. I didn't like Ronald Reagan, but I would kill for him over this guy. This guy's way worse. No, he's not. This is what y'all said about every Republican president in my entire life, and probably before I was born. And for those of you who don't remember, it's the same hissy fits they were having in the 80s. I remember in the 80s when, we lived too far out to get cable. But some of my friends had cable, and every once in a while I'd get to watch some stand-up comedy act and get to see what the outside world was saying about us and saying about our president. And I was really shocked at how many people just openly hated our president at the time. I'll give you a great example. This is Bill Hicks, brilliant comedian, fellow Texan, just completely deranged for Team Blue. And tell me if Robert De Niro, what he said last night at this First Amendment benefit concert, doesn't it sound exactly like what Bill Hicks was saying? And I think this is from 1986, 1987-ish.
Why is it always good guys are murdered? John Lennon murdered, John Kennedy murdered. Why is it good guys are murdered? Mediocre hacks live on forever. Martin Luther King murdered. Gandhi murdered. Jesus murdered. Reagan shot, wounded, cancer 8 times. That still walks. This guy's like Jason at this point, man. I'm back. We can see him in a hockey match. Can he speech now? Well, you shot me, I'm back. Cancer on my nose, I'm back. Cancer in my ass, I'm back. My God, what's it gonna take? A syringe of AIDS shot in your eyeball? I'll do it. A Trident missile shot up your fascist, evil, mean-spirited, corporate puppet, devil. Where's the button?
See, they've always been hateful little nerds. They've always been little nitpicky, hateful, hating on the country, hating on the president, absolutely deranged. And then they have the gall to go on the Super Bowl halftime show, and the only thing that trumps hate is love. Really? Did you just hear a bunch of love there? Did you hear a bunch of love from Robert De Niro's summary of this country last night? A bunch of racist, sexist, bigot, homophobes with a bunch of people who are so stupid they voted in Hitler? Really? The only thing that trumps hate is love? You think you're the party of love? Did that sound very loving from Bill Hicks? So the question is, do they really hate this country? Some of them do. I think some of your Team Blue neighbors, the ones that are a little more open-minded, a little more moderate, a little more, it's not even mainstream anymore, but what used to be the mainstream, the Bill Maher, the Mark Cuban, the Stephen A. Smith, the people who claim to be Democrats but don't say horrible things about the country, I think they're disappearing over the horizon. They might just have to join Team Red. But we'll continue with this. I'll break down a little bit more on trying to decide if they really hate the country and how many people here legitimately hate this country. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. You're listening to The James Show on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. How about we trade some of these World Cup tourists for the ladies of The View? Wouldn't that be an improvement? I'm James Parker. It's the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. And the part I'm struggling with, and I think a lot of people are struggling with, is, do these people really hate this country? Do these people really think America is sexist, racist, bigot, homophobe? Because I hear a lot of them like try to make comparisons to the rest of the world. And usually when they do that, they only compare us to a handful of Western European first world countries, right? Like we're the only developed world that has a problem with gun violence. Yeah, well, developed world country. What about the other 180 countries? Yeah, well, they have a bigger problem with crime and gun violence than we do. But let's not look at them. We're the only country without universal health care. The only country? Well, the only first world developed country without universal health. Oh, okay. So they have a stretch in order to say things bad about this country to begin with. So I don't think a lot of them believe it, but I'm starting to move the boundary on how many of them actually hate this country. And I think the World Cup tourists are doing it for me. I think the World Cup tourists, like, this is a guy named Victor. He sounds like he's from England, but I'm only going by exact accent. These people love this country, and they love the parts of the country that Team Blue actually hates. They love rural America. They love giant trucks. They love Bass Pro Shop. They love the conspicuous capitalism and excess of the Buc-ee's gas station chain. They love going to Hooters. Here's Victor.
One thing I'm loving about the World Cup is seeing everyday American people finally get their moment in the spotlight. Seeing the way you've welcomed the Scots in Boston, the Algerian folks in Kansas, the Dutch in Texas, it's just been beautiful. Seeing all this all over my For You page and in the international press has been just honestly such a breath of fresh air. Because for once, just once, the lead story isn't intentionally divisive politics or celebrities or some manufactured rage bait on the internet. It's just everyday American people being themselves, kind, welcoming, and a little confused at our food choices. These are the real people, like the people who are actually the fabric of the country. Take the random folks I met in Tennessee. I was standing outside an Arby's thinking, what is this place? And they were like, dude, if it's a nice dinner you want, maybe don't go here. Then they pointed me to a local barbecue place, and I ended up having one of the best meals of my life. That is the US I know. And I think that's what the World Cup is showing a lot of Europeans. The headlines will show you a country, but Americans will show you America.
Now here's another piece of audio that'll make you feel warm in your heart. Jake Tapper is talking to one of these German World Cup tourists named Thiago, and just talking about this newfound love affair between the visitors and the Heartland.
Another German soccer fan, Freddie, has also been going viral on X. He posted this photo of a custom Welcome Freddie banner with the German flag added to Louisiana's state welcome sign. What do you make of all the viral content coming out of this tournament and all the love for the European tourists from the American people as you show us our country with fresh eyes?
Yeah, I mean, I know Freddie. He's a nice guy. He's from like close to me, so I've been talking to him. He's loving it. He's more touring the South. I did Chicago, and I think it's more like because in Europe we have a lot of rather negative news about the Americans in the last 5 years, let's say that. And I think we are all enjoying like the fact that this country is so great to visit. The people are amazing, so welcoming. The culture is amazing. It's like Europeans are getting a new view of America right now, I think, through our content, and that's cool, I think.
All right, now here's going to be the ultimate head slapper. You ready for this? I feel like I shouldn't even do this because this is almost too mean to do. But let's put that right next to Larry Reed. Do you remember Larry Reed? I played you this audio at the end of last week. You just heard different tourists from different countries come over here and say they love this place. They love the people. They love the hospitality. They love our culture. They love our food. They love our behavior. We're also friendly. We're also welcoming. We're also extroverted and nice and treat everyone like family. And there's some people over there saying we need a black exodus to Africa.
And I'm saying this as a collective. Let's drain this place of its benefits and make our mass exodus and go home and build.
Coming up next, you're going to hear a couple of sitting members of Congress. They're on a TV show in good old New York City, and they're going to be asked who they're rooting for in the World Cup. New York City! And neither one of them are going to say America. This is not a bit. This is not a skit I picked up from some old Dave Chappelle show. This is not some skit that Shane Gillis has put on his social media. This is legit audio from yesterday. You'll hear it next on The James Show. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Shouldn't you be kicked out of Congress if you don't root for the U.S. in the World Cup? I'm James Parker. It's the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. You know, a couple of World Cups ago, we weren't even in it. So then if someone asked you who you're rooting for in the World Cup, I would accept another team. But what happened is two people in Congress, I've never heard of these people until today, were asked, who are you rooting for in the World Cup? Now remember, the United States is in there. And the United States, we've only had one game, and we won 4-1. We're in great shape. There's no excuse to not say the United States. And remember, he's not asking you, who do you think will win the World Cup? He's just asking, who do you like? Who are you rooting for? So the first guy you're going to hear, Adriano Espelate, he's going to say Mexico. And then there's Daria Eliza Chevalier. She's going to say Senegal. And I just want you to hear this with your own ears. They really don't root for this country, do they?
World Cup is here. The first match this weekend at MetLife Stadium taking place in New Jersey, even though some people say it is technically New York. But what do you think will win it all? Who are you rooting for?
Oh, I like Mexico.
Mexico, there you go.
I'm rooting for Senegal.
Senegal, okay.
Yeah, make no mistake, if you don't know soccer, neither one of those countries are expected to get anywhere in sniffing distance of the finals, much less win the whole thing. So they're not saying who do you think is going to win, who's the best team. They're saying who are you rooting for. And freaking Senegal got mentioned over the United States. Senegal. Where is your allegiance here? Where is your patriotism? So you couple that with what Robert De Niro said last night. You couple that with the black exodus that a chunk of the country was calling for. I know I don't think all black people were down with this. I don't even think anywhere close to half of black people were down with this. But this was an exclusively Team Blue phenomenon. They just don't root for the country over and over and over. So you know what? Maybe we do own patriotism. Jon Stewart said the right doesn't own patriotism. You don't get to own the patriotism. You don't own the flag. Well, at least we root for it.
You just want that person to give you your country back because you feel that you're this country's rightful owners. There's only one problem with that. This country isn't yours. You don't own it. It never was. There is no real America. You don't own it. You don't own patriotism. You don't own Christianity. You sure as hell don't own respect for the bravery and sacrifice of military, police, and firefighters. Trust me.
No, I think we do. I think we do. And Jasmine Crockett was trying to make that point too last year that MAGA's not patriotic. Yeah, we are.
You can wave all the flags you want to, but I am telling you right now that the most unpatriotic people that we have in this country are MAGA and this president.
Oh, yeah? Not the people that are calling for an exodus? Not the people that are giving long speeches in some big concert last night using their star power and celebrity status to explain why they don't love America? Yeah, we're the ones who aren't patriotic. Tallarico was making the case last year that some of the illegal immigrant children that he had in his classes when he was a school teacher are more patriotic than MAGA kids.
On the west side of San Antonio, I taught a lot of students who were undocumented. And I don't want to stereotype, but those students tended to be the most patriotic, the hardest working students that I had in the classroom. They understood something about this country that even I, as a native-born American, often take for granted.
Yes, they understand something about this country that you stupid inbred white people can't understand. You dumb MAGA Republican inbreds can't understand. Can you just say something nice about this country for 5 seconds? Can you say something nice about straight white Christian males for 5 seconds? You want to run this country down every chance you get and then lecture us on how we don't own patriotism. Stop it. Stop rooting for other countries. Stop rooting for Senegal and Mexico over the United States. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Getting you caught up with Freddie. Freddie from Germany is probably the biggest storyline on the World Cup tourist. He came over here with, I think it was single digit thousands of followers. Now it's up to over 600,000 people who are following pretty much his every move. Like I wake up in the morning, I kind of check on what's Freddie doing today. Well, Freddie has stayed in this big hotel room that JJ Watt put him up in the last couple of nights. This morning, he was invited by NASA for a tour. And in this tour, he posted a quick little 30-second video of Freddie and his two friends from Germany being walked through the Orion capsule that just went around the moon. Remember the space travel that happened a couple months ago? Well, this is back at NASA, and they were showing him how it works.
Let me go this way. Watch your head as you come in. So that would be your pilot and commander. And then Jeremy and Christina sat here, so our two mission specialists. So this is the launch configuration. So you can sit on one of their seats if you want to come on in. But this is what they lived in for 10 days.
This is so small.
Yeah.
Just sitting the whole time? Or?
No. That once this is for launch, and then once they get on orbit.
Dude, they're gonna have to make a movie about these guys' trips. It's three guys that came over here. They didn't expect this. They didn't expect to get like they're gonna go to an Ella Langley concert in a couple days. Like Germany's about to play, and then they're gonna drive up through here to Oklahoma City. Ella Langley's gonna have them in her suite on the side stage. They are just getting all kinds of awesome treatment here. And I think everyone in Texas understands the assignment. Freddie and his friends are not allowed to buy one beer while they're in our state. You understand that, Texans? We have to outdo the other states. We have to show out in more than Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia combined. And I think we can do it. I think we are going to be test. And for non-Americans, if you're a World Cup tourist or people who are transplants from outside of Texas, everything in Texas is a contest. You understand that? Everything. We're competing on everything. Do a quick Google search on homecoming mums, M-U-M-S. And this started as some guy got his date a flower for the dance, and the next guy, he wasn't going to be outflowered by that stupid neighbor, so he got his girlfriend a bigger flower. And here we are 2 generations later, it takes up her whole torso. It's hilarious. Now, the media could be doing a lot more of this World Cup tourism stuff, but they've got to stick to their narrative. Here's WFAA telling you what a great, amazing, wonderful success public transit has been.
This morning, we know a lot of fans turned to public transportation to get to Sunday's matchup. TRE says ridership doubled on Sunday compared to a typical weekday. DART sold 12,000 passes on Sunday. That's a lot. And we know that 7,000 fans funneled through Centerport Station, where fans hopped on shuttles to the station. Despite these numbers, officials say they plan to focus on making sure traffic runs more smoothly tomorrow afternoon.
We look at every day as a practice. We look at it, we see what went well, what didn't go well.
We want to see exactly what we saw. Very little hiccups and what was going on.
You mean the Trinity Railway Express only does half the business of one soccer game on a regular weekday of commuting? What an absolute waste of money that is. And if you're going to do a report on public transit, why don't you include the Japanese tourists who are telling you how scary, smelly, and dangerous it was? What a desolate, bleak experience they had to drop them off in a downtown hellhole where then they had to walk past all kinds of homeless, mentally ill zombies to get to their hotel. You left that part out, but no. Other than that, yeah, public transit, great. Way to be propaganda, guys. Bob in Keller, you're on the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
Hey, James. Thanks for taking my call. Had a comment concerning what you said Tellerico said when he was teaching on the west side of San Antonio, that the illegal immigrant children were more patriotic than the other children. And I don't know the demographics of West San Antonio, but I'm guessing maybe all the kids in his class were Hispanic. So I don't know if he was trying to just claim that, they're more patriotic than the white kids, but if all he had in his class were Hispanic, then the American-born kids that are Hispanic, then I guess they're not as patriotic as the ones that had just come across the board, is what it was sounding like to me.
I don't think he meant that as any other thing, but hey, I'm dunking on white guys. Isn't that what we're supposed to do on Team Blue? Because there's no logic behind it. And in fact, there's no way illegal immigrant children can be more patriotic than the average American child that he is taught. I mean, it's not even believable.
Yep.
All right. Well, good stuff. Bob and Keller gets it. And the question becomes, do they really not get it? Do they really believe it? Do half of them truly believe this and the other half are just going along with it because that's what they think they're going to say? Because I'm not even sure if Tallarico is a true believer. But coming up next, there's been a similar criticism on the UFC fight where this is so embarrassing on one side, and on the other side, this is a great display of America's glory on the other side. Now, the truth is going to be somewhere in the middle, but I'm leaning more toward it was a nice, glorious event, except for one piece of audio. And I'll play that next for you on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Well, brace yourself. You're about to hear me defend Michelle Obama. But don't worry, I think you're going to agree with me on this one. I'm James Parker. It's The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. And it must be something pretty serious if I am defending Michelle Obama. Well, it's not really that serious, and it's not really that hard of a defense here. A viral video came out. Fella named Josh Hokett won his fight in the UFC battle on the White House lawn on Sunday evening. They put a microphone in front of his face. The one message that he wanted to tell the world is Michelle Obama's a man.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
Now, that's not really an enthusiastic response here. And I think that's terrible. I think it's a terrible thing to say. I think that's a terrible look. I think it hurts the cause more than it helps the cause. And I'm not saying we should control our own speech and say only what is good politically. We're not hacks here. But let me tell you why it's wrong. And I don't mean this to be mean, but remember, I am here in defense of the lady and encouraging people to be more respectful. But it's wrong because she is actually ugly. It's when they say Melania is ugly, when they didn't put Melania on any magazine covers during the first term, the entirety of the first term is like the longest she had gone without being on a magazine cover was being the first lady. It's not really that offensive, and you and I didn't lose sleep over it because we both know she is just shockingly beautiful, like in the top 1% of natural beauties on earth. She was a supermodel for a living. She's married to a billionaire, and it's his third wife. So, of course, she's going to be beautiful. So anybody running around making fun of Melania, it just makes themselves look bad. However, the Michelle Obama is a man thing, I don't like that. I don't like that. Number one, she's not a man. I don't think she's a man. Number two, you are pushing people away. Would you say something about her looks if she agreed with you politically? Would you be calling her a man if she was a Republican? Absolutely not. But you can't make fun of ugly people for being ugly. It's sort of like an unwritten rule of comedy. Like no one made fun of Barbara Bush, but Barbara Bush was not attractive, was she? I don't know what she looked like when she was in her 20s, but when she was in office, aren't you glad they didn't make fun of her? Wouldn't that have kind of hurt your feelings? Wouldn't you have thought anybody who says something terrible about this poor old lady is just a bad person? Well, that's what I think when people call Michelle Obama a man. Like if you're saying it behind closed doors and you're saying it as a joke because other people have said it and you're kind of tapping into that vein of comedy, cool, whatever. But in public settings, it's not going to fly. And it's going to cause this whole other storyline for people who may have otherwise been open to listening to us when it comes to an economic issue or a foreign policy issue or any of these other cultural issues. We are reaffirming the propaganda that we're the mean people and not the party of love. We're the party of hate. We run around calling an ugly woman ugly. Immediately after the event, Shane Gillis, one of the top comedians in the country, walking back to his car, TMZ catches up with him, a reporter from TMZ. They do the paparazzi moment. And this is what they asked him about.
Hey, Shane, how'd you enjoy the night, man? It's pretty cool. What do you think of Josh Hokett's joke?
Can you please?
What do you think of him saying Michelle Obama's a man?
I didn't love that.
Didn't love it? How come?
Why did you think?
So now we have to have this conversation. Now, instead of talking about other issues, remember the way the media works is they look at an event and they say, what can we take out of this? What can we report on this that helps the narrative the most? And you can't be giving them atomic bomb ammo like that. Now, it is known that this is not an attractive woman. Here's a viral video that I had to play last year. And it was talking about the Michelle Obama situation and the propaganda here. I get it. The idea that we had to listen to her be called beautiful for the last couple of decades deserves a pendulum swing in the other direction. You just can't go that far.
Most unbelievable pieces of propaganda that I experienced growing up was when Obama was getting elected. The media just kept going, oh, that Michelle Obama, she's so beautiful. I was just like, what are you talking about?
Yes,
This right here. It's so funny this guy brings this up because that's exactly how I felt. I'm like, this is clearly propaganda. Because it doesn't matter. It's not a race thing. It's not black, white. This lady is dog. And I have a story about that. My mom's boyfriend at the time, I remember sitting there, we're all watching TV, and out of nowhere, this says, oh, she's so beautiful. Nobody ever uses any other term like she's pretty or she's gorgeous. No, it's always beautiful. That's how we know it's like Operation Mockingbird propaganda. And then I know the Mockingbird propaganda works hard because it doesn't even make any sense. I had to have this conversation with my mom because she's one of those brainwashed Democrats as well. But I caught her saying, Trump is such a loser. Trump is such a loser. And I was like, what? That whole narrative that the Democrats really buy into is insane to me. If that's a loser, that's the kind of loser I want to be. I want to be a loser who has a big private jet with my name across the side of it to let everybody know it's not rented. I want to be the kind of loser who has buildings all over the world with my name on it. I want to be the kind of loser where everywhere I go, I make money. And people are so stupid. They're like, oh, he declared bankruptcy several times. Yeah, that's how rich people keep their money, dum-dum. So if you're one of those people who actually believes Michelle Obama is beautiful and Trump is some kind of a loser, congratulations. It worked on you.
So let's be honest here. She's definitely not beautiful, but she's definitely not a man. And, you know, we have different grades. I know in the country we have terms that may not directly translate to city people. But when you look at the terms of like the ugliest thing you can call somebody, man probably is the worst. I believe second worst in the hillbilly lexicon of my upbringing would be swamp donkey. That's like the ugliest you can be and still be a woman. She's not that. She's not even that. She's not even that busted up. There's other grades, but I don't want to get through it. She's, I mean, average, just lost in the crowd at best. She's not noticeably, like visibly repulsive, but she's not beautiful. And is because of that why you got to stop calling her a man. Stop calling her ugly. This doesn't look good. This doesn't help the party. This doesn't help the cause. This makes you look like a bad person. I'll continue making my case next on The James Show. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I'm telling you, it's not a good idea to call Michelle Obama a man. I mean, it's kind of funny because she is not very attractive and has some mannish features. And I get the temptation because she's done nothing but run this country down her entire life. But one thing, I'm James Parker, James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP, your home for Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins from 11 to 2, yada, yada. But when Michelle Obama runs down this country, like going all the way back to the earliest writing we have from her that I've seen is her thesis when she went to Princeton. Her doctoral thesis or whatever she ended up getting was about how because of her skin color, because of her race, that no matter how good she is, no matter how smart she is, no matter how educated she is, no matter what she accomplishes after Princeton in her career or in her family life, she will never be accepted as truly American. She will never truly be accepted as part of this society as a whole. And that's a terrible thing because America didn't make her feel like that. She was trained to think like that. Look at what all the World Cup visitors are saying about America right now. Wow, we feel so at home. She's over here 50-something years into this experience, got to be the first lady of the country for 8 straight years and live in the White House. Still doesn't feel like she's included in this country. And if you're mean to her, if you keep saying she's a man or she looks, I don't know, like, how do I say this without getting in trouble? If she looks like she's in a different hominid genus, how about that? You're almost proving her right. Suzanne in Greenville. You're on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP.
Hi, James. How are you?
Fantastic.
Wonderful. Hey, Michelle Obama was born Michael Levon Robinson. And he and Barack Hussein Obama, Barry Sortos, were friends in college, I believe. They started out. And there's video proof and audio proof. And even when Obama was president, he said, Michael and I would like, and he was talking to a bunch of military people. So, yeah, Michelle Obama is a man.
Well, if there's such definite proof, then why isn't it generally accepted?
Well, because it will come out. It'll just take some time because it's not the most important thing in the world right now.
No, well, no, not right now. But you know, he did have to go through 2 presidential election cycles, and I'm surprised if it was going to come out. I think it would have come out in one of those.
Well, Joan Rivers tried to say, somebody asked her.
I remember Joan Rivers,
and
she was saying
Yep.
Michelle's a tranny, and then she ended
Yep.
up mysteriously
Yep.
dying like a month later. I'm familiar with the storyline because Miss Parker was half convinced on the storyline for a little while, and she was showing me. She's like, "Well, here's when he said that, and here's some evidence, and here's an old picture, and it looks like there's a dude that kind of looks like Michelle." So, well, where did the kids come from then? Where Sasha?
They were borrowed. They were borrowed from another couple.
Well, you go to Big Lots or something?
No, they were actually their parents. Both daughters look exactly like their parents. There's proof.
There's another set of parents that just said you can have our kids for 10 years in advance before you run for president.
To make you look for yep. That's the way it is.
Because the hardest thing I have to argue against people like you with is when y'all bring up the fact that there are no pregnant pictures of Michelle Obama. Now that I have anecdotally confirmed, I can't prove a negative, but I've actually gone and tried to look for them because if I could find one pregnant picture of Michelle, that would really throw a dent in your theory. I couldn't find that.
There is one, but it's
There is.
AI generated, and
Well, then that doesn't count.
Michelle has 6 fingers in that picture. So
All right. How many
there's
people
that.
out there actually think Michelle Obama is a man? And please don't come in here with jokes and being rude. Be respectful like Suzanne in Greenville is. You're not making fun of her. You're not saying she's ugly or a
No, I'm
swamp
just
donkey
telling
or
the
anything.
truth.
So you genuinely think Michelle Obama is a man?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Well,
Okay.
No, fair enough. I let you.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of people who agree with you on that one. I hope it's not a majority. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Just so y'all don't think I'm doing this to be mean here. I didn't just come out and say, let's make fun of Michelle Obama. It was a statement that happened at the UFC fight on the White House lawn. Josh Hokett.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
All right, so Josh Hokett believes that. Suzanne in Greenville believes that. I don't believe that. Shane Gillis doesn't believe that. You're going to hear from some more of your neighbors because the phones have blown up. 800-288-9227. There's one line open. I'm James Parker. This is The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker, and we are in a rough topic here. Michelle Obama. Now, I think this is wrong, and it's only ugly because it's not true. If this was true, I think I would have a different come away from the UFC fight. But on Sunday evening, they had the fighting exhibition on the White House lawn. And after Josh Hokett won his match, they stuck a microphone in front of his face. What would you like to say to the people?
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
Yeah, well, let me give you a big if here, because I don't like that. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's a good look. I think it turns people away. I think it makes all of us look bad. And if they have enough fake things to accuse us of, we don't need to give them some real reasons to say we're hateful people. But okay, let's do the if. What if she really is a man, or was a man, or something to that effect? In fact, I had the Facebook message from Ed over here that said Mrs. Obama is a woman or a hermaphrodite. It's like, dude, I don't know how we got here. I would like to simultaneously hear why you think that and not hear why you think that. But, the pushback on this, I almost have some criticism for the other critics. If you're on Team Blue and this offends you, why? Is that insulting? If someone refers to you as a trans or some other form of the LGBT, this is Pride Month. Aren't you supposed to be proud of that? Isn't that a compliment where you're from? So if you're on Team Blue and you're acting all offended by this, I don't know. I don't think you get to be consistently supporting and praising and celebrating LGBT Pride Month while simultaneously pretending to be offended if someone accuses someone else of being LGBT. I don't know what to think, man. It's 2026. Things used to be a lot simpler. I just think this is wrong. But I don't know. What if she is? Then is it wrong to say the truth? Well, no, that changes everything. So if you truly believe that she's a man, okay, but can you just not be saying that into a microphone on a worldwide broadcast? It doesn't help. Marion and Mahia, you're on the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
Yes, I've known for years that she is a man, and you asked a while ago about her children, where'd they get their children from. If you check the records, every time that they went to Hawaii, there was always the same couple there, and they were the parents of those two girls. And you can imagine somebody saying, how would you like us to adopt those two children, act as if they're ours, and look at the lifestyle they're going to have living in the White House, traveling around the world and everything like that. And Joan Rivers said something about it, and shortly thereafter she was killed. Now, I'm not saying that, you don't know if she was killed by something like that, but she did relate to that way back when. And that's what I've always heard, is that she is a man. And he even called her Michael several times on television. He accidentally said, hi, Michael, or called her Michael. And then he doesn't do that anymore. I'm sure he got kind of hot spot with Michelle about that. And she's bigger than he is. She could probably beat him up. But
well, look, half of us can beat up Barack Obama. That doesn't make Michelle a man. So
that's true.
Okay, but can we flesh this out a little bit, because the conspiracy has to be really big here. So this couple that is loaning Sasha and Malia to Obama for 12 years or whatever, do they know that Michelle's a man?
I imagine so. Now, I can't read people's minds, but I imagine so. Otherwise, they wouldn't have needed to adopt the two children, and so that they would appear to be a couple.
Well, they could just tell the neighbors in Hawaii that we're childless and we would like to have some children for media aesthetics. Now, weren't the Obamas seen with these two young ladies, their two daughters, before he was a presidential candidate? He had to run for the state house and then run for Senate out of Illinois. And if I remember correctly, he had children back then. Did he just play the long game on this fake child layup?
Well, that's an excellent question. I can't say I know the answer to that, but if you check the records, every time that they went to Hawaii and they stayed there for a while,
I got you. Just well, it's the same reason why there's a lot of people that aren't sure we landed on the moon. I think Miss Parker's not quite sure we landed on the moon. And, you know, the comeback to that is even without knowing all the specifics and all the details, the conspiracy would have to be too big. Like for the moon landing to be fake, there would have to be thousands of people in on it and nobody breaks over the last 50 years. It just seems like less likely than maybe Michelle Obama is just kind of a manly looking chick and there's no big secret there. She's just not that attractive.
And he wouldn't have called her Michael several times on television.
Okay,
he did refer to her as Michael. I mean, I'm not. I
hear
don't have all the answers, you know. And I appreciate you don't believe it, so that's fine. I do believe it, and I detest the way that she's spoken negatively about our nation. That when he won the election, that was the first time that she ever felt.
Okay, so what about this, Marion? Marion, she wrote her thesis in Princeton. I've read it, and it's not that long. It's only like 72 pages. And she wrote Michelle on the paper. Did she transition before her last year of college? When did this transition supposedly happen?
Well, good question again. I don't have the answer to that, but I'll tell you this. When Obama was running, when he was president, and look at what happened at Benghazi, and look at how well they covered that up. And there's no doubt that Benghazi was in dire straits of people to go over there and rescue them. And Obama said they can't get the planes there fast enough. And there was a crew.
Right. None of this makes Michelle a man, though. I appreciate it. I'm gonna talk to some other people. You did a great job arguing your points, though.
All I'm saying is that if they can cover that up, they could cover something like that up as well. But thank you for having me on your show.
Good deal. JP in Wiley, you're on WBAP.
Hey, James, how's it going? Interesting conversation. I'm not going to say that Michelle Obama is or was or ever has been a man, but she's at least got some high level of testosterone flowing through her. I mean, she does look awful manly.
I know, but if... Like, I can't make fun of fat people because I'm not fat. You realize, like, if you're a comedian, the only comedians that can make fun of fat people are fat comedians. You understand that? And so it's only hurtful because it's true, or there's a kernel of truth to it. She doesn't, because from her point of view and the point of view of our Team Blue neighbors, if she's not really a man, then you're just making fun of her for being ugly, and she can't really help that. And we've all kind of agreed it's not nice to make fun of people for immutable traits. You know, you don't make fun of handicapped people. You don't make fun of people for the color of their skin. You don't make fun of people for being ugly. You just, it makes you look like a bad person when you say it, even if it's true. 800-288-9227. I don't think I'm convincing anybody today. I don't think I've changed one mind, and that's all right. I enjoyed the discussion. Coming up next, Chris Putnam's going to jump on from the Dallas Express. So we're going to talk about some World Cup parties, but also the next WBAP station event is a joint event that's happening with the Dallas Express to celebrate America's 250th birthday party on July 1st. We'll tell you when and where and all the good details next on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey, homeowners, terrible weather this spring. It's also lasting into the summer. I mean, I'm looking out the window right now, clouds. If you are getting any of this bad weather, if you are getting any of this hail, if you're getting any of this high winds, you might want to get your roof checked out. You know what? Go look at it right now. And then when the next storm goes and blows through, if you see any changes, you got to call Blue Ribbon Roofing. James Parker here for Blue Ribbon Roofing. If your roof is over 20 years old, you should probably just go ahead and call now because it doesn't cost you anything. The free roof inspection means John's going to come out there. He's going to hop up on your roof, run around, look at all the seams, take a bunch of pictures, and he has been doing this for 33 years, I think it is now. So he can spot a roof flaw from a mile away. It doesn't take 30 minutes. It really took about 15, 20 minutes for him to do the whole inspection. And then you can find out if you have any problems or if you can rest easy when your head hits the pillow at night. But if you do catch a problem, you're going to be a smart guy because it's going to save you thousands and thousands of dollars that would have cost you if you let it go unrepaired. Water leaking in through the roof is a big problem that will cause you thousands of repairs if you don't catch it fast enough. No reason to wait. Doesn't cost you anything, just a little bit of time. Go to blueribbondfw.com. All right, we are having a big party for America's 250th birthday. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. and the details are finalized. The venue is secured. The headliner is set, and it's all happening on July 1st. Now, this isn't just something WBAP is doing on its own. Our great, awesome news partner, Dallas Express, actually did probably more of the work on getting this set up than we did. Chris Putnam, CEO of the Dallas Express, thank you for helping us put this together. Let's tell the WBAP audience about what we have planned for America's birthday. Isn't there a really popular business that's behind it? I just can't think of which one it is. What? Could be anything. Slipped my mind. I don't know. I think they have like Bible study there or something. Or I think that's it. Okay. Yeah. Pro America, you're welcome. If you hate America, you know what? You should probably come anyway and just be exposed to this and sit through it and seethe. But who do we think? How did we get this to be free? I see y'all. We scared up some sponsors: Ben Abbott and Associates, Basin Ventures, Clay Cooley, Marineland. Overtly pro-American live act. Now, this hit all the bullet points I asked for in my dream event, except for one. I wanted it to be free. I wanted there to be some live music and an overtly pro-American act, which we have in Rich O'Toole. I wanted it to be centrally located geographically to the WBAP listening area. I just the only bullet point we didn't get, it's not going to be the perfect event, is we can't bring kids. Well, I assume Longhorn Ice House doesn't normally allow kids in, and I'm kind of split because they have that porch now, the backyard. Isn't that the same thing they got going on there? Well, double check, because if you can't allow kids, then it's the perfect event. But I like it being free because I'm a person who has a lot of kids. So if I am bringing kids, I gotta get 6 tickets. And so even if the tickets are only like $30, I'm now out $180 just to go do something for the 4th of July. But no, this isn't going to cost you anything. It's centrally located, and it's everything you want in an event. Plus, I'm going to be there. Now, if you want to spend money, you can pay for the VIP meet and greet, which means you just hang out with me and Rich O'Toole and Chris Putnam, and we're going to try and get more people there, and we'll announce it. Can we say these yet? Can we say the notable elected officials yet, or are we waiting on that? Cool. You know, it'd be really cool is if we had some of these World Cup tourists who were in town and you're looking for something to do, your budget's getting a little stretched thin, you want to do something that's very American to sort of signify and remember this trip by. This would be perfect. We'd love to meet World Cup tourists. And then when you go back to whatever country, you can still listen to the James Show on the WBAP app anywhere on the planet, especially if you have Starlink. So let's take a quick break here. When we get back with Chris Putnam, we're actually going to talk about the news of the day and run that by him, the Iran deal, the World Cup tourists, DART, all that fun stuff. I'm James Parker with Chris Putnam from the Dallas Express. We'll be right back with more of the James Show on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. All right, let's break down the top headlines of the day with Chris Putnam, CEO of Dallas Express, DallasExpress.com. Chris, thanks for hanging with us. First things first, the biggest story of the day, the Iran war peace deal. Now, the market seems to think this is a for real peace deal. The oil industry thinks this is a for real peace deal. I'm still skeptical because I haven't seen what's in the deal, and I haven't seen what's going to happen with the uranium. Your thoughts, Chris? Are you talking about Cuba? Russia. Yeah, okay. Well, my concern here is that we have 60 days to figure out what we're going to do with the uranium. I don't expect the Iranians to give it up, so I think we may have to either start bombing or moving the goalpost in 60 days, and that's getting really close to the midterm. So I don't know if this guy is painting himself into an electoral corner or what. Well, let's talk about what's probably going to be my biggest story tomorrow. And FBI and law enforcement now have 5 people in custody over this attack that was plotted for the UFC fight in Washington on the White House lawn a couple days ago. You know, I first saw the headline yesterday, and I'm like, oh, wow, another plot. Whoop-de-doo. Well, now that we have 5 people in custody, we have what the plans were. We have 23 people that may be involved in the conversation and the planning process. Now this sounds like a headline story. I had no idea this plot was this big. Chris? I know we're going to talk about Josh Hokett said Michelle Obama's a
And
man.
lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
Yeah, and another reason that's not a very nice thing to say is it gives them an excuse to focus on that and not the fact that a bunch of loony, murderous, bloodthirsty leftists are so deranged with hatred for Trump, there was going to be another attempt on not just his life, they were just going to start taking out anybody on Team Red that fit the bill. Well, also, if they slow roll the story and they're like, yeah, there was a plot, and then they don't tell you for a couple days how big it was and how many people were involved, and then they don't tell you for a couple more days the details of the story, by the time we actually do get the reporting on it, they'll have the excuse of, yeah, that's old news anyway. All right, this is Chris Putnam, CEO of the Dallas Express. Come out and join our party. The Dallas Express is teaming up with WBAP and the Longhorn Ice House to bring you America's 250th birthday bash. Rich O'Toole, a Texas country artist, is going to sing some patriotic songs, including cuts from his album American Kid. It's happening Wednesday, July 1st. There's a VIP meet and greet, and I'll be there. Rich Toole will be there. Chris Putnam will be there. We'll be announcing some celebrity or big name attendees as well. So if you want to get the VIP meet and greet, we'll let you know who you get to hang out with. But for everyone else, if you're not interested in the VIP meet and greet, it's free, baby. So remember the day, Wednesday, July 1st, 6 to 10, Longhorn Ice House. Be there. Thank you very much, Chris. Coming up next, an update on the Civil War race war. That's not going to happen. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. All right, I may have underestimated how many people out there think Michelle Obama is actually a man. I thought a lot of people were joking. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. I thought it was just a funny thing to say because she looks kind of masculine. And look, she's not ugly. She's just not beautiful. And that's kind of annoying how you were told she's a fashion icon and so beautiful and stunning and all this goofy stuff for years and years and years. Meanwhile, Melania Trump gets no such treatment. I get it. And I get it that when you say horrible things, it rubs some people the wrong way, and it's the exact same people you want to irritate. But the people who actually think Michelle Obama is a man, I hope it's just every single one of them has emailed me or sent me a Facebook message, because this is more than I thought. And I'm not starting this.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
See, now, that may feel good. That may get you some cheers. You may think that's funny. And you're only entertaining yourself for a little bit, and you're hurting your cause forever. The people that hear this and get offended by it, make no mistake, I'm not offended by it. I think it's childish and it's wrong and it's counterproductive, and I'm a little more pragmatic than that. But the people aren't even going to remember Josh Hokett's name. They might not even remember the fact that there was a UFC fight on the White House lawn. They might not remember the circumstances or even specifically what the quote was. But they will remember how this made them feel. You understand how powerful that is 5 years from now when they're confronted with some information that makes them rethink their worldview? This is the feeling that will stop them from accepting this new worldview. They've already determined, and it's got reinforced by this poor behavior here, that you are the bad guy and Team Red is the bad guys. Because, look, there is a divide in this country. I don't think it's nearly as stark as people make it out to be. Definitely not as bad as the media wants it to be. But all this talk that we're on the cusp of a civil war, silly talk. We are nowhere near a civil war. And I don't know what the civil war is going to be, if it's going to be city people versus country people, if it's going to be Democrats versus Republicans, if it's going to be whites versus blacks, but all of them sound absolutely absurd. We are like arguing siblings. We pretend like we don't like each other just because we're around each other so damn much. But we are brothers around here. At least most of us see it that way. Here's a viral video from a fella named Brandon. That's the only info I got on his identity. But he's a brother who was talking about the silliness of Civil War talk between blacks and whites.
You gotta be high on the spectrum if you think BLK people can win a civil war against white T people. They will literally kick the black off our ass. Oh, there you go cooning again. There you go shucking and jubbing. No, I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. Only thing they have to do is cut off our food and water supply. And then when they go to battle, they ain't got much to worry about there because most of us can't even hold a weapon properly. The only time we take out people is people that don't have other weapons in the community. And the small amount of people that are using the weapons don't even know how to use it effectively. I'm just being honest, bro.
Let's go back to Dave Smith talking about the liberal versus conservative Civil War talk. Also insane.
These dumb lefties celebrating. Like, what exactly are you trying to start here? Don't sit here and pretend you're ready for a fight. Like, what are you doing? Do you know? It's like such a weird dynamic they have here, right? Where like the left wingers are almost always the ones who are out on the streets. They're the first ones to go, we're going to go out here and do a thing. It's much harder to get the right wingers out on the streets because they have families and jobs and church to go to. But the right wing is so much tougher. So much tougher. Like if this ever came down to a fight, the fight is right wingers mowing down gender studies majors.
So can we just stop with this? Can we stop being mean to each other? Can we stop pretending like we're not brothers and sisters who agree on about 95% of things? We just disagree on about 5% of things, and that gets exploited to drive us apart. For the most part, we all agree on the principles that makes America great. We all agree, just generally in principle, to free market capitalism over socialism, freedom of speech over censorship, freedom to keep and bear arms over restricting your weapons rights, and all these other freedoms, freedoms of assembly. They don't have these everywhere, and you and I agree on most of that. Can we stop acting like we don't? All right, hey, we have a special event that's coming up tomorrow. I have a storm warning. Stormy Daniels. Remember her? Some of y'all remember her from her work back in the day, sinners. She's not doing that anymore. She's now doing stand-up comedy, and she's going to be at Mic Drop Comedy in Plano. It used to be the Plano Comedy Club. They changed names a few months ago. But tomorrow night, the doors open at 6. The show is at 7. And we're giving away VIP gold tickets. And what that gets you is a 30-minute meet and greet with Stormy before the show starts. So you get a meet and greet, you get to take a photo with her, and you get reserved seats at the front. You can win these tickets from us. Text the word Stormy to 800-288-9227. It's the same number I give out to call into the show. You text that number, 800-288-9227. Text the word Stormy. And since the show's tomorrow night, go ahead and text now. I think this is the first time it's been mentioned on the air, so no one has signed up for this contest yet. Like, this contest is going to be whoever signs up now, and I think we may run a promo tomorrow, and we'll have to give them away by before the James show starts. So you have a really good chance to get Stormy Daniels tickets to see her do stand-up comedy at Mic Drop Comedy. But you get more than that. If you're a fan, you can go to the meet and greet on us. Text the word Stormy to 800-288-9227. Man, I kind of want to go to that. All right, that's going to do it for the James Show. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. If you need more James Show action, you can go check out the podcast. I spend a lot of time editing that and putting it up for you. Also, remember, I have a lot of great videos that are on all the socials. We're even expanding now, so it's not just the Facebook and the X/Twitter anymore. We're doing Instagram. We're doing TikTok. We're doing YouTube. We're all over the place. So wherever you're listening to podcasts or watching videos, just look up the James Show or James Parker or whatever. You can find me. It's good stuff. Thanks for hanging out. Mark Levin's next on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.